Okay, you guys, gonna show how we make the no knead bread. Um, we're gonna just use some all purpose flour, and we're gonna do 12 ounces. I'll give you the conversions to cups just in case you haven't got your scale yet, but I'm sure you're gonna get it soon. Um, we still have Amazon, at least as far as I know. Okay, 12 ounces. A bit more, 12.1 is fine. Um, you can use all-purpose flour, but I actually like to use a little whole wheat, um, purely for flavor, not for any health reasons or any nonsense like that. Um, Sorry, bad mise en place. We're gonna add another 3 ounces or 2.9 ounces to get this up to an even 15 ounces. Okay, there we go. Whoops. Oh, bummer. That wasn't in the camera view. I just spilled some on the counter. Okay, we're gonna add 1.25 teaspoons of salt. I'm using kosher salt, but any kind of salt would be fine. I used to do 1.5, but a friend convinced me that the additional quarter teaspoon may be affecting the yeast. Yeast and salt are not friends. I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of instant or rapid rise yeast. They have this at most grocery stores. They would call it bread machine yeast or rapid rise yeast. It's not the stuff in the packet, so it can be activated only with water. Okay, and then to this we're going to add, well, first of all, bad mise en place again. All I want to do is just kind of give this a little stir, just to combine it a little bit as a dry ingredient. We're going to make a little well in the center, and then to that we're going to add 1.5 cups of just room temperature water. Okay, 1.5 cups. And what I find works best is to do, I don't know, like 2/3 of it. 2/3 of it first and get it started. And you see it's not really coming together, but we've got all of that incorporated, and then we're going to toss the rest of it in. And this will be a shaggy mess. It's not going to be anything like a yeast roll dough or a brioche or anything like that. It's just going to be a mess like this. But we want to try to get all of the dry flour incorporated with the liquids. Okay. But it's gonna be a mess, just a total mess. And that's fine, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap it with some plastic wrap, and we're gonna let it sit for 8 to 24 hours at room temperature. Okay, then I'll come back for the next phase of this tomorrow. Okay, so now we're about 12 hours later, and we were wrapping the bowl, not the bread. I realized that was not terribly clear. So that bread's just been, or the dough has been resting for, I'm going to call it about 12 hours. So what we're going to do now, I used to take this out and put it on the board and knead it. which was messy. And this works just as well. I've got a bowl scraper, but like a rubber spatula would do. We're just going to get in there and we're going to kind of give it a turn. And you see it's still like sticky, 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 sticky. This is where my niece went wrong when she tried to do this. She freaked out at how sticky this was. And we're just folding it over onto itself. A time or two. And this is going to do something with gluten or something. I don't know. Give it some rise. Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay. Okay. Now I've got a like a salad bowl sort of thing, and a piece of parchment paper. What we're going to do is we're going to scrape out this bread onto this parchment paper. And what that parchment paper is going to do is it's going to be handy when we cradle it into the Dutch oven. Okay. So, there we go. Now we've got like a little bowl. Okay, we can take our plastic wrap that we had before, put it over top of the bowl, and this just gives us a place to spray the top with some no stick spray so it doesn't stick too bad to the bread. Okay. And we just lay that back over top of our bread, and this is just to keep dust and stuff getting in there. Now we're going to let that rise for another 1.5 hours to 2 hours. And then we want to preheat an oven to 500 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere in the middle rack, it's not real important, in some sort of a small Dutch oven that we're going to bake in. Okay, so far in this video we've been doing sort of I think you would almost call it like a Wes Anderson approach, stationary camera, everything centered. We're entering into kind of the Martin Scorsese phase of the video. We're going to, so our bread, and actually this is a different loaf of bread than the one I showed you, because this is the Martin Scorsese part where the camera moves around like crazy. This is actually a different loaf. It might be 2 or 3 loaves later. But anyway, this thing has been rising at this point for 1 hour and 9 minutes. I'm going to preheat our oven. But before we do that, let's talk about pots. We have discovered that this pot right here that we borrowed from Liz, our neighbor, is perfect for making bread. Yeah, so this pot right here we've discovered is perfect for baking a loaf. Here's Molly. For baking a loaf of bread. And I have the dimensions right here. Liz's pot. 8 1/4 inches by 4 inches deep. Anything will work. A larger pot will be fine, but
larger pot, it'll turn out flatter.
Yeah, it'll turn out flatter. Thank you, Molly. Okay, so we're going to put this into the oven. As I said, we're in about 1 hour and 10 minutes into the second rise. We're going to put it in the oven, somewhere kind of near the middle, whatever. And we're going to set our oven. If you have convection, don't need it because we're baking it in a pot, to 500 degrees and start. We're going to let that preheat. As soon as it gets up to temp, we can start rolling again. Now we're presented with a bit of a question, whether we go back to like a Wes Anderson, like a Royal Tenenbaums kind of tight centered shot, or back to the Martin Scorsese stuff. I think let's do Goodfellas instead of Wes Anderson. We are now 1 hour and 40 minutes after our second rise. I don't think that's a cough we got to worry about. The oven is at 500 degrees. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to try and do this with one hand. Our Dutch oven has been preheating for, I don't know, half hour or something. Hot as hell. Okay, I'm going to put the phone down for a second so I don't do something stupid. Okay, I'll take the lid off. And we're going to grab our bread. Where is our bread? Over here. As you can see, it's like starting to spill out over the side of the bowl. That means we are ready to roll. Okay, we're gonna take our bread, take it over to the stove, take the plastic off, obviously. And this is where the parchment paper thing, let's see, can I hold this in my, under my chin maybe? Is that gonna work? Maybe. Boom, 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 boom. Into the Dutch oven. I don't know what you're seeing right now. Into the Dutch oven. I think got the sides into the Dutch oven. I'm not really sure what that shot got. Okay, we got some oat bran. More flour would be fine. All-purpose flour, whole wheat flour. Semolina might be nice. You could even do oatmeal, I think, if it was ground enough. We're going to take a little pinchy pinch of that. And we're just sprinkling it on top. This is kind of mostly visual, but it's nice. Okay. Got a pair of kitchen shears. People say to do this with a knife or a razor blade. My friend Roya does it with scissors. Super smart. We're going to do, you could just do a straight cut across. You want something to let some steam escape. Kind of nice if you do kind of like this. Kind of looks like a shaft of wheat. Oops, sorry. Boom. Okay. I'm going to put the phone down again so I don't burn myself. We're going to put the lid back on. Lid's going back on right now. That's what's happening while the screen is black. Lid is going back on. Lid is going back on. And I'm going to take the risk of doing this one-handed, or at least attempt to, so that we get the action. Boom. Oh, wow. Dumb move. Never mind. Sorry. Phone's going back down. We're going to put this in the oven. Back in, lid on, 500 degrees. Gonna set the timer for 13 minutes. Done. Okay, after 13 minutes, we're gonna drop it down to 425. Gonna run it for another 17 minutes with the lid on. I just refused to show my face in this video. 17 minutes with the lid on. After the oven's dropped to 425, then we're gonna take the lid off and bake it for another half hour at 425. Now, you can just take it down to 425 immediately. In fact, you could probably leave it at 500 through the whole thing. This is just what we have discovered by accident to be the best results. Okay? So I thought we'd. So what's going on? We're now in the second phase of the bake. We've been in the second phase for 3 minutes, and I can't do the math. 3 minutes and 30 seconds or something. So I thought, hey. You know, maybe the question would arise like, hey, could I make this thing with all whole wheat flour? Yeah, you could. A couple of things to think about. One, whatever whole wheat flour that you got kicking around your kitchen right now is probably garbage. It's probably white flour that had the bran added back in, some nonsense like that. I don't know. I don't know how all that works. It's not like straight up stone ground whole wheat flour. It's probably not even worth the bother. The other thing is that that's going to get into some like hydration stuff, you know, and some about like whole wheat wants more water than all purpose. I haven't really figured all that stuff out. I'm just going to be straight with you. I haven't figured it out. Every time I've tried it, it's been a disaster. I've tried to do the math. Anyway, this is just a failure on my part. You can get away with this amount of all-purpose to whole wheat ratio to get the flavor of a little bit of whole wheat in there, but still get the rise. So if you want to go all whole wheat, you're on your own. Okay, we are in the last minute of our second phase bake. This is 425. We've been baking with the lid off for 1/2 of 1 hour. Presented with the question, dare we attempt another one-hand lift out of the oven? I'm going to say yes. The reason being that the lid is off, it's going to be easier to hold. I'm not saying that you should in any way attempt a one-hand lift out of the oven. I think on the other side, like if we fail and we have to put the phone down, I think that gives us a nice little bit of comedy. Okay, we're in 20 seconds. And I thought that I had about 1 minute's worth of stuff to say, but I guess I only had 45 seconds worth of stuff to say, so let's just watch the clock. Okay. 1.5 hours. Let's take a look. Oh, look at our bread. Okay. Let's try this. One hand. We got a handle. Should be fine, right? Well, maybe not. Maybe not. It was worth it. It's worth the risk. Turn the oven off. I always forget that part. Okay. Look at our bread. Turn the timer off too. Look at our bread. Isn't that timer off too? Look at our bread. Isn't that nice? Yeah. So let's get this out of here. Let's try the. No, let's not do the chin thing again. Let's grab some tongs. Grab some tongs. You could leave it on the parchment paper, it'd be fine. Then you want to put it somewhere top of your dryer, sort of a speed rack. And don't be a chump. Don't cut into this hot. Let it cool down. And then you have a loaf of bread, which you made yourself. Hope it works for you.